Hi, my name's Mike and I make videos of my allotment and the occasional garden woodworking project. I expect the main question on my regular viewers is did the critters leave my plants alone? Well, yes they did, and bang on target. The next batch are all ready for planting out. And following that, on returning back home, I sowed another batch. But more about that later, because they didn't turn out exactly how the others have been going due to the weather. Having planted the next batch out, I gave consideration to giving them some protection. And normally my preferred method is to use a frame, which not only allows protection but gives them some support as they are growing. I lift the frame up at regular intervals. The grid I use I make from rescued slating laths, which occur when property has usually had a loft extension built in, and building regs don't allow the laths to be reused. But if you are going to use the laths, then please do ask the contractor first, because in the UK it is an offence just to raid a skip. You've got the British law is that everything belongs to someone. It might not even be the contractor, it could be the owner of the house, and I'm speaking from experience now. Or the other question you'll be asking, did I get the booster for the Wi-Fi? Well, yes I did. Here it is, and I'll be fixing this in due course. What prompted me to give some protection was our weather forecast was predicting really cold weather with the possibility of snow. Therefore, to be forewarned is to be forearmed, hence the protection. I returned a week later as a check-up of the allotment, which was found to be okay, and decided to raise the bar on the protection. And I was pleasantly pleased with the state of the plants. They definitely showed some progress. In East Sussex it did snow, but it didn't last long, or at least after a week, when it laid on one day, which sort of thawed but then changed its mind and we had a big freeze. More accurately, it was the return of the beast from the east, which brought down the temperatures to -8 degrees. This affected the last sowing, which was slow to germinate and slow to grow when they did. So, staying in during this cold snap, I chanced my luck to a bit of shed work and recommenced working on the polytunnel vents by cutting the stock to length, but I could only manage an hour. HSE state 16 degrees, and I could not maintain that temperature with the -8 outside. And when using a circular saw, you need the touch of your hands. You can't really do the job wearing gloves. Well, I can't anyway. The first task was to set up the machine to cut all the lengths the same size. I did return 5 days later and inspect the broad beans. Did not expect much change in the growth, but felt comfortable with what I saw. And if one looks closely, frozen remnants of the snow that laid are still present, and you can just see a light snowfall in progress. The later part of this week the skies were clear with bright sunshine, which of course brings frost, and I want to return you to the polytunnel. When I showed you the storm damage inside the poly, and in particular the damage to the inner mini greenhouse, the plastic covering had become damaged beyond repair. Numerous searches on the internet were made for the size I required, only to find just one, which the vendor wanted what I would call an unreasonable price for it. The mini greenhouse had contracted a bit of rust, so a paint job was in order. I'd already purchased some hammerite to paint the walkway handrail. There was enough in the tin to do both jobs, but to convince the boss I painted the handrail first and then the metalwork of the mini greenhouse. Metalwork's now painted and carefully moved into the shed to dry. Let me state that I left 2 bars unpainted, and then the next day, which is today, I painted those 2 bars. That was to allow me to carry it into the shed. Getting back to the greenhouse cover, so I looked at the Wilko site. Well, I actually started at the Wilko site, as this is where I purchased the greenhouse from in the first place, only to find the message out of stock. So later, in desperation, contacted Wilko, who regretted not having any replacement covers, but would contact me when they had some. The next day, emailed me. They had some, and did I still want one? Paid my money, and it arrived 2 days later. That's Wilko for you, the allotment gardener's friend. Well, that's the end of the video for this upload. It's covered 2 weeks, basically. It's now the 14th of February. That's St. Valentine's Day. I hope you purchased your loved one the gift that they wanted. It's also a milestone UK history because we achieved the 15 million vaccinations on programme as predicted and as planned. It puts us in good stead for overcoming this virus. So it just leaves me to say, take care of yourself. Don't forget to ring that bell. A thumbs up would be nice. Please subscribe if you've not already done so. But please do comment. I love the comments. And it just leaves me to say, take good care, look after yourselves, and bye.